it makes, it's madness. So we have to get involved locally. I go to the meetings, I talk to superintendent, but when you're one person, it really doesn't.
Okay, now there was another, sir, did you want to say something? Right there, in the maroon shirt, I thought you had your.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay.
I came here tonight to find out what you were about, not you personally, because I had no idea it would be you. I came here to find out what your group would be about. I did some homework. I went to the Promise, Sandy Hook Promise site. I read the Promise, I made some notes. Some of the items they bring up I agree with. I read their frequently asked questions. I read their mission statement. Many things I agree with in here. For example, what are the priorities of the Sandy Hook Promise? Mental health, school safety, gun responsibility, and family. Now, I found that kind of interesting because at no time, and this has nothing to do with your effort or your organization, but at no time since Sandy Hook have I seen a Sandy Hook parent on television talking about any of those four things. What I have seen them talking about, I've also seen them crying, I've also seen them arguing, convincing. What I have seen them talking about is gun control, okay? So for someone like myself to look at an organization like Sandy Hook Promise, and to come to the table as an honest, to have an honest conversation, I always read the manual, so to speak. And what I also found on the Sandy Hook Promise site is that when you go to the Take Action section, and you actually drill down, the only action that they have available for you to take is to find out the record of all the Congress people and how they voted on gun control votes. Okay. So that's the Sandy Hook Promise site, and that's what they say. Now, I came here tonight to find out what you said. I've heard some of what you said. Oh, I didn't hear some of it. I heard all of it. Perhaps you said everything you came to say tonight. Perhaps you didn't, because we have some passionate people in the audience. I suspect I might also be one of them. But I came here tonight determined, I told my wife, I'm going here with an open mind. I want to listen. I want to hear. And if I don't do anything else in the entire night, I want to persuade. So I guess it was very interesting listening. I did lots of listening now, didn't I? The whole argument, and by argument I don't mean butting heads, the way this entire argument on gun violence has been constructed in this country, and to the extent that you mirror that construct, is all wrong. The argument is way the hell off base. Now, my degree is in philosophy. The one thing I learned was how to think in a straight line. So I'm not going to go on and on and on, but I'm going to say to you, Ms. Riley, I think it is,
Right.
if you want to honestly do something new and different, groundbreaking if you like, why don't you and your group try to construct an entirely different argument based on the reality of life and not based on a whole host of statistical facts or based on the emotional outpouring of a group of people who have been so severely wounded emotionally and psychologically. How in the world could we turn to those people and expect an objective and rational solution? I don't get that. But nevertheless, for your group, my suggestion would be huddle up and think about the issue of just violence itself. Take guns out of the equation. What is violence? Why does it happen? And what are the absolutely essential ingredients for violence? And then deal with that and propose solutions and remedies for that. And most important, find ways to identify the actual components of the violence, and not to simply branch off on inanimate objects of whatever, whatever is in vogue, and eventually get led by the nose back to the same place where some of the other groups you've mentioned tonight have been for a very long time.
Okay.
Because until that happens, there isn't going to be any actual accommodation.
Very good.
And if you want any help with that, I would be happy to help you.
Well, no, thank you. So I think it's 8 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock until.
One agenda, right?
She's got
Just one
one
agenda you
agenda.
have.
Whoa, that was.
Just one agenda you have.
We offered
You just
help
asked
you,
for
we
an
said
hour,
everything.
an hour a week, and this man offers to give this service here?
If he talked to you about how to take away the guns, you'd probably bring them onto the group.
That's, yeah. And as I said, we had the room till 8 o'clock. We had the room until 8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock now. Thank you all very much. Wait, just a second.